Today, we're going to look at the Schwa Sounds lesson page and talk about how to incorporate pieces of it into your instruction and how to teach the Schwa. After that, I will walk you through a sample lesson plan. First, let's talk about what a schwa is. Schwa is simply a lazy, unstressed vowel sound. It is the most common vowel sound in the English language. Any vowel can be a schwa. Schwa vowels sound like or I. And a schwa is always found in the unstressed syllable of a multi-syllable word, as in around and pilot. The Schwa page is located at the end of the training companion guide, but Schwa words can be introduced and taught much earlier in the sequence, as can the other skills that are grouped in this red section. Schwa words show up in many two-syllable words, and we start seeing them on the VCCV1 lesson page when teaching how to divide two-syllable words, and later when teaching the other syllable patterns for dividing words. Here are just a few of the words with schwa vowels from those pages. Schwa vowels are also found in many one-syllable high-frequency words like done, come, and some, which are often taught as puzzle words. So it makes sense to introduce and teach schwa sounds early in the curriculum. By teaching schwa vowels early and pulling groups of words into your instruction where they fit, your students will be familiar with schwa and ready to decode multi-syllable words with the schwa vowels by the time they get to those later lesson pages. So the main purpose of this Schwa Sounds page is for you to use as a resource and pull forward pieces as needed into your instruction based on the needs of your students. Just like all the lesson pages, the words are organized in columns, starting with the simplest one-syllable words and graduating to more complex words and advanced skills. So you can choose which sections to pull out and teach based on where your students are in the program. The first column includes one-syllable words with schwa o. The second column includes two-syllable words with schwa a. The third column continues with two-syllable schwa a words, where students must find the one that is schwa. The fourth section has multi-syllable words with various schwa vowels that include a, o, e, I, and y. And the final section includes vowel consonant e words with schwa vowels and the ing suffix. So when can you start to pull pieces from the Schwa page into your instruction? Here is a suggestion. The table of contents on the left shows the scope and sequence of skills. The table on the right shows you the skill patterns of most of the words on the Schwa Sounds page, grouped in order of when they are taught. The words in red consist of closed syllable words. The words in blue includes vowel consonant E words, and the words in the third, fourth, and fifth columns consist of multi-syllable words with the different syllable patterns. So you can choose the words from the table that align with the skills your students have been taught and teach the schwa sounds as a lesson based on where you are in the curriculum. And you can choose as many or as few of the words for your lesson. If you choose to work with just a few words, you can still play games for repeated practice. For tic-tac-toe, you can play with 9 words, or if you are teaching fewer words, you can repeat words. For bingo, you can simply use a smaller grid, or you can use a larger grid and repeat some words. The same goes for the board games. It's okay to repeat words. And if you engage the students in having them make the board game by writing the words on it, they get that extra practice with spelling these words. You can also use the game pages that are found after the lesson page if they align with the skills your students have been taught. There is a Go Fish page and a game of books. Feel free to customize as needed. Before we plan a sample lesson, let's first briefly go over how to mark and read the words on this page. For the columns that tell you O and A say in the blue section, the student can simply highlight the O or A, say the sound and read the word. For the columns that say find the start by having the student divide the word and read it phonetically. For example, alarm has a VCV pattern. The student would mark the vowels, mark the consonants between, and then divide. First choice, dividing after the vowel, makes A an open syllable, so it says alarm. Second choice, dividing after the consonant, would make the A short, arm. If neither word sounds right, substitute the schwa sound for the vowel, alarm. When it is read as a word that sounds familiar, students can then mark or highlight the schwa vowel. So here's our lesson page where we're marking schwa sounds. In this first column where it says O says and A says you can simply highlight the vowel and say the sound and read the words. So it looks like this. Sun. One. Ton. Done. None. About. Among. Now, students might say among, and then you can say, is it among? Or maybe that O is saying schwa too. Among. Yeah, that's another schwa sound. Along. Adopt. Agree, and so on. And you might also talk about how that E in these words are not vowel consonant E. That E is not telling the vowel to say its name because these are all schwa vowels in those words. In this next section, where you have to find the and these words are more than one syllable, you may simply start with having the student mark the vowels, vowel, vowel, consonant. They would divide first choice, and then let's read. Does that say a where or is it a where? A where, and have them highlight that. Same with the next one. Vowel, vowel, consonant, consonant. Divide. I know AR says R. So does this vowel say a, larvae, or larva? Larva. And they would keep going like that. Here, mark the vowels, mark the consonant. First choice, does that say wagon? Let's try second choice. That would say wagon. That sounds very similar to wagon. And which vowel is saying there's that O. That O is saying that O is schwa. And they would continue marking and then reading. Is that gallop? Is that first vowel schwa? Gallop? That doesn't sound right. How about that second vowel? Is that schwa? Gallop. Gallop. Yes, that one is schwa. And they would continue marking those multi-syllable words that way and substituting the schwa until they're able to read the word that sounds familiar to them. Now let's walk through a lesson plan. This plan is for introducing and teaching the schwa O sound. I will be using the first column of words on the schwa sounds page for this lesson. We start by tapping the charts. Use your chart progress monitoring sheet to track your students' level of chart tapping. In this plan, students will tap the first and blends charts, sounds only, out of order. Next is sound dictation. Choose sounds based on student observation, skills taught, and sounds that need to be reviewed. In this plan, I have chosen sounds from the blends chart that we have previously practiced, as well as sounds from older lessons. Next is review. A review should be a short activity that reviews the previous skill or connects previous learning to the new skill. For the review in this plan, we're going to pull out our flip cards from the previous lesson and read closed syllable words and vowel consonant E words with blends and H brothers. The new skill introduces the concept of schwa. We can explain this to the students in simple terms. Sometimes O can say When O says we call it a schwa. I would use letter tiles to demonstrate the different sounds of O, where O says like sob and top, and words that have a schwa O, like sun and ton. Then we would arm spell the following words that have the schwa sound of sun, one, dove, love, from, month, and glove. The next part of the lesson is word study. This plan has 2 activities: highlight the skill and arm spell and write. First, we will highlight the skill on game cards that have been prepped by taking the words from column 1 on page 250 and writing them onto a blank bingo board. The students will highlight the O, say the schwa sound and read the words. Then I will take those same words that were marked and dictate them for the students to write on their bingo boards. They will write their words in random squares until the entire board is filled. We will end our lesson playing bingo for repeated reading practice. The next component is sentence work. This can be done for day 2 if you have the students for a shorter period of time and can't fit it into the instructional block. I have chosen 2-part sentence matching and have created short sentences using the schwa words from the lesson page and being careful to use words with skills that the students have already been taught. Students will mark and read the schwa O words, read the sentence parts, and put them together to make meaningful sentences. To play bingo, you can use plastic sheet protectors, and students can use dry erase markers to mark their words. That way you can use the page over and over and play several times for repeated reading practice. Cut apart the game cards and use them to call out words. The teacher can call out the words and students find and mark the words on their game boards, or you can have students take turns being the caller. And that completes our lesson plan for teaching schwa. I hope you found this Tools in 10 helpful for guiding you in creating a well-structured lesson plan and knowing when you can incorporate the skill into your instruction.